Will Thomas Tuchel be given the time, the resources to implement his style of play and succeed at this football club? We'll wait and find out as I reveal all the details in this video. It's a massive talking point video for you guys. Do Chelsea need to change their transfer policy? After what happened to previous managers, the successors of Man City and Liverpool have dominated the English Premier League for the past 3-4 years. Do Chelsea need to change their transfer policy? Do we need to look to more long-term management? I'll be revealing all the details, giving my thoughts and opinions, but before I do get into it, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, comment down below your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. A big night tonight, Chelsea versus Spurs, in a must-win derby for Chelsea. Watch along tonight as well, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But let's get straight into today's video. Now, starting off, of course, with this video, I need to mention a few things. There's a few talking points, there's a few bullet points that I'll mention. I'll be talking about Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola, Chelsea's current model of how hiring and sacking managed on a consistent basis. Our net spending amount we've spent since 2010, does it justify our success? The finishes that we've had pre-2012, between 2004 and 2012, the league places that we have come, the league finishes, and also league finishes post-2012, and then we'll do a comparison. We'll then be looking at Tuchel's contract length. Is it justifiable? Ever since Klopp has signed for Liverpool, the amount of managers that we've had. Also, the consistent managerial changes, the consistent managerial and transfer policy changes, looking at young European talent and then switching to established experienced players, and then switching to world-class talent, looking at integrating youth. The consistent managerial changes, a change in transfer policies, looking at experienced, established players, looking to integrate youth. These consistent changes in transfer policy, is it justifiable? Do Chelsea need to change their transfer policy and back long-term management? I'll be delving into all of that. Now, starting off with the first one, let's look at Thomas Tuchel. Will he get time to succeed? Now, history suggests he won't. He simply won't. Ever since Roman Abramovich has taken over in 2003, we have had countless managers. 16 managers in 15 years. Ever since Jurgen Klopp has signed for Liverpool, Mourinho got sacked, Gus Hiddink came as interim manager, Antonio Conte signed, Antonio Conte got sacked, Maurizio Sarri signed, Maurizio Sarri left, Frank Lampard signed, Frank Lampard got sacked, and now Thomas Tuchel has been hired. Ever since that time, Liverpool have had stability and they've had long-term success because they have backed their manager, they've given resources and time to their current manager. Now, whether some of the managers we've had deserved to have the Chelsea job in the first place, whether they were good enough, is a completely irrelevant argument. The argument I'm making here is, should Chelsea be looking at long-term management? The two teams that are at the pinnacle of English football as I record this, Liverpool and Man City, dominating English football, dominating Europe, the likes of Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona. Chelsea and the rest of the Premier League are miles apart in terms of gap. We're looking to close that gap, but this model that we used to have that we called sustainable, I don't think is sustainable any longer, and this is why I'm proposing this argument is to, I don't think this model is sustainable anymore, this hire and sack model, because look at the success we've had when we used to do it compared to what we did now. Now, when Roman Abramovich came in 2004 and we adopted this model of hiring and sacking, our league finishes were as follows: second place, first place, second place, third, first, second. Now, out of all those years, our lowest position that we came was third, but we were consistently coming either first or second. We won the Champions League in 2012, we came 6th. This is post 2012 now. We then came third, first, 10th, first, 5th, third, 4th. Now, again, in 2 of those seasons, we finished outside of the top 4, in coming 10th and 1st. In 3 of those seasons, we came outside the top 4, finishing 6th, 10th and 5th. Meaning that, it's slowly declining and we haven't won the Premier League title. If we don't win it this year, which is looking highly unlikely, it's going to be 4 years since we last won a league title. In the last decade, between 2010 and 2020, we only won 2 league titles. In comparison to the spending we had, is that justifiable? In my opinion, it's not. Me being cynical, because how can you spend 1.3 billion since 2012? In 9 years, we have spent 1.3 billion. This is not net spend. This is just overall spend. Of course, if there's net spend involved, it'll be significantly lower. But 1.3 billion pounds spent on players in 9 years, and we've only won the league title twice. For me, it's not good enough. It's not justifiable, because of the consistent change in managers not being able to implement their style, not being given time, having mix and match players, and of course this change in transfer policy when there hasn't been a single plan since 2012. Ever since we won the Champions League, there wasn't a plan. When Eden Hazard, when Oscar, Mata, De Bruyne, Lukaku came, there wasn't a significant plan to integrate these players into the first team and to build a world-class squad around them. There wasn't any plan of that. It was always hire and sack. And when you consistently hire and sack managers, these players, they can't develop or grow because new managers have new ideas, new philosophies, and it doesn't work. It never works. £1.3 billion spent since 2012. Let's look at our transfer policies ever since Romans came. Now, after we won the Champions League in 2012, we adopted this transfer policy of signing young Belgium European talent. That's when the likes of Eden Hazard, Lukaku, Kevin De Bruyne, Thibaut Courtois all came into the mix. Eden Hazard, one of our greatest ever legends, it worked out. Look at De Bruyne doing bits at Man City. Look at Lukaku thriving into Milan. Look at Thibaut Courtois currently playing for Real Madrid, although he did have a very good career at Chelsea. We then moved away from that model. We then went to look at signing experienced, established players like your Emerson, your Giroud, your Alvaro Moratas, your Zappacosta's, your Drinkwaters. Look how that's paid out. Drinkwater is still in our books on loan at Turkey, at Kasim Pasha. In Turkey, we're still paying majority of his wages. And then you look at the flip side. Zappacosta still on the books. Bakayoko still on the books. It's a lot of players. And then we looked to integrate the youth, mixed in with signing world-class players, which is the current transfer policy we adopt now. Which at the moment I think is a correct transfer policy. But are we going to stick with the transfer policy? That still remains to be seen. But let's look at the second point. Klopp, if he commits to his contract until 2024, which is his current contract, which he signed recently, he would have been at Liverpool for 9 years. He's won the Champions League, the Premier League, the Super Cup and the Club FIFA World Cup, and of course it will be countless more times. When Klopp took over, they were in complete turmoil, complete mess. From top to bottom, they were a complete mess as a football club. By giving time to the correct man, giving him time, resources to back him, they thrive under the conditions. And I think at Chelsea, they're given a very short limited of time, and always the board get protected. Any board mistakes gets thrown always at the manager. The manager has to take the responsibility. The manager has to take the blame for all the board's mistakes and responsibilities. Pep Guardiola signed for Man City in 2016. He's going to be at Man City for 5 years when this season ends, and he only signed a contract just last summer, meaning that if he fulfills and commits to his contract, he would have been at Man City for nearly 8 years. Now, will Thomas Tuchel be given the same lease, the same resources to compete and succeed at Chelsea? As I said, as history states, he won't. But can Chelsea change? Can Chelsea give Tuchel the resources? Can Chelsea back Tuchel to be successful here? Will Tuchel get time at Chelsea? Let's talk about the contract length. 18 months he was given. Now immediately that should be a massive red flag because the club know the reputation. The club know the circumstance. Being very, very cautious. 18-month contract with, of course, a year to extend that. But most managers, when they sign, they get at least 3-4 years. The fact that he's got 18 months, that even concerned Thomas Tuchel himself. It shows the incompetence that we've had by hiring sacking on a consistent basis. And these reports that are coming out that if Thomas Tuchel doesn't get top 4 this year, will he get sacked? Is that fair on Thomas Tuchel? Would that be fair on Thomas Tuchel to sack him if he doesn't secure top 4? He's coming to a mid-season with a club that's in complete mess, in complete turmoil, an oversized, over-bloated squad, with a hierarchy that's in complete tatters, with disharmony in the squad, no unity. He's had to unify the squad together, and he's had to implement his tactics, playing games every 3-4 days. He's given an impossible job here. If he doesn't get top 4, how can he get the majority of blame? He can't. And I think they'd be really harsh to sack him if he doesn't get top 4 this year. Will he get more time? Let's say he does get top 4. Will he get time next season if we go on a bad run, a bad patch? Will Thomas Tuchel be given time to turn things around, to implement his style? His style of play needs time to implement. Will he be given the time? Will he be back to resources and finance and money? Only time will tell regarding that situation. And it's just me just banging on about the situation time and time again. If you continue this model of hiring and sacking, I can tell you now for sure, it's not a sustainable model. We will fall further and further away from Liverpool Man City. The gap will forever be increasing and will be further and further away, not only just Man City and Liverpool, but will be further and further away from the Europeans' elite. The Europe's elite, the European giants, likes of your Bayern Munich's, your Paris Saint-Germain's. We will be falling further and further and further away. We need to change this model at Chelsea Football Club. We need to change the transfer policy and stick to it. We need to give time to long-term managers. We need to adopt a new model. Because I'm telling you now, if we adopt a new model and we back managers, we give them time and the resources, they will thrive at this football club. You will get bad patches, of course you will, but giving it to the right man, and Thomas Tuchel, by the way, is the right man for this. Give him the time to implement his style, give him the resources and the finance, and he will thrive at this football club. He will take us back to the elite. He will take us back to winning Premier League titles again, to winning Champions Leagues, to winning every single piece of silverware there is on store. He will, but he needs the time. And I think that tonight, again, is a massive game. We need to get the 3 points. But again, as I've said, Chelsea need to give Thomas Tuchel time. But will he get the time? That is a completely different question. And Chelsea need to be changing the transfer policy. But what do you guys think? Leave me your thoughts, opinions in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, smash like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification. And I'll see you guys tonight for my watch along. Peace.